Welcome back to the Football Terrace. It's Straight Facts. It's Tuesday. It's LB and Dan Potts. How are you both? You well?
Very well, man. Really happy, man. All good.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Now you're seeing Dan Potts in 4K, lads.
I know.
I mean,
First time ever, man. First time ever.
I believe, I don't know if I'm right, Terry, but this is available in audio podcast mode only if people don't want to see Potsy in 4K. So on Spotify, you can listen to this on Spotify if you so wish. There you go, lads.
I've got a face for audio, man. Face for audio.
Yeah, just put your phone in your pocket. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever it is, you need to protect yourself. But yeah, we can see him in all his glory there. But it's good to have you both back on. It's nice to have some proper football to talk about. I'm excited to go through the football, but there is some controversy as well. There's a big cheat investigation involving Manchester United that we will be delving into on the show. We're looking back at the big game between City and Arsenal with both Potsy and LB. We're talking about the title race. We didn't get round to that on the Top 6 show last night because we had to end about Liverpool now being title favourites. And we are going to have a debate around Erling Haaland and these claims from not just Roy Keane, but Ali McCoist, and, of course, a lot of social media content creators as well, that Erling Haaland is bang average. We're going to be going into that and getting everybody's thoughts and everybody's feelings. But I wanted to start with the story that I told you both about earlier on today. And it's all sort of interconnected to some situations that are going on at Ajax. As everybody knows, Ajax have... Sorry, I clicked on the wrong button. Ajax have suspended their current CEO. I believe his name is pronounced Alex Gross, I think that's how it's pronounced, over insider trading allegations, to which he bought something in the region of 17,000 shares just before his appointment as the CEO. That's being investigated. Ajax have suspended him indefinitely. I was talking to a couple of journalists about that today and some other stories. And what came up, and I'll read out what they sent through to me, and I want to get your views on this. So they mentioned that they said that the club's supervisory board say that more than 17,000 shares were bought a week before he intended to be appointed as the new his announcement was due. So he obviously knew that he was going to be announced as the CEO. Then he bought these shares. In conjunction with this at the moment, what has come through from a number of Dutch journalists is that his old agency, SEG, and the son of Erik ten Hag, Nigel ten Hag, are all under investigation in a corruption probe, which also involves Erik ten Hag, suggesting that there is a bit of dodgy dealings and some questionable transfers that are going on, some of which that involve Manchester United, and this current investigation is underway, and more is going to come to light soon about this. There's no real specific detail, but this leads back to an article that came out late summer, early September, which spoke about Manchester United staff having real concerns over Erik ten Hag's agents on transfer dealings and the influence that they all had. And what I've been told by a number of journalists today is that these stories of some dodgy dealings from the current Ajax CEO, his former agency, Ten Hag's son Ten Hag, there could be an element of this being intertwined moving forward. And as a Man United fan, this is horrible news, whether you want the manager to stay or not. You don't want the idea of player transfers between your club and Ajax having any kind of dodginess about them in any capacity, but it does need to be discussed. It does need to be called out, in my opinion, as do any kind of allegations of this level. But with Man United being that absolute mess that we have been for the last decade, Dan, does any of this surprise you?
Surprise is probably the wrong word to use for me, because Manchester United, I don't know what more can go wrong at this football club right now, man. Like, literally everything that is being spoken about in a negative light is to do with Manchester United. And it was weird the last time we spoke about Kobe Manu being in the England side. It's probably the only time we've spoken positively about Manchester United all season. It has been an absolute shambles from top to bottom. And if this is the case, it's just going to get even worse. Now, what's mad about this is these Manchester United signings that potentially have been made, whether you call it fraudulently or not without investigating it properly, I wouldn't mind so much if it was like a Manchester City situation where they've actually got a load of trophies to show for it. Like, oh my God, this 115 meant they've got all these trophies. Manchester United have got awful signings to show for what could have been corrupt. So we're looking at the players like Anthony and looking at players like Amrabat and these guys that are being thrown out there. Some of them will work. Don't get me wrong. I think Martin is actually a good player. I think that obviously Rasmus Haaland looks like he could be a good centre forward for the future. We've certainly got some good players there, but let's be real. We're looking at this situation, and yeah, we're all smiling because this is madness, though. Like, this is actually, I don't know what more can go wrong at the moment. And we have to look at it properly, and there's not enough evidence for me to see in a few articles yet to know what the hell has gone on. And we'll have to see more evidence when it's put in front of us. But as you say, you'd be worrying from a Manchester United perspective. It is literally a football club that needs to be started again completely. It is mad. Like, I was looking at the side the other day, like real talk, and I was thinking, your best 11, how many of them would you have to upgrade on? Quite a few. It's not like, wow, you've got 11 players there that are great. It's just the squad depth. Then you look at the management structure. That's all being replaced at the moment. The stadium, people are saying it's falling down. You want it started again. I honestly believe that it is a project for someone not to just come in and experiment a bit. This is for someone. This is a massive, massive project. It's one of the biggest football clubs in the world, and it's got to be started again. And I look at this kind of stuff on top of it. It just adds to the absolute mess that has been the football club in the last few years, man.
Absolutely. And what I would say is this, and this is only me reading between the lines based on the conversations that I've had today, and the articles I've read. I don't think it's necessarily that the corruption is we've got players that we shouldn't have been able to get. It's maybe the amount of money that Man United have ended up paying. So there have been some rumors that it's a bit strange that we could have bought Anthony for about 30 odd million. We ended up paying 90 odd million. There's thoughts that maybe we've paid more than we should have done for, say, Rasmus Haaland, and that way agents, the son of our manager, etc., are earning more money out of those deals than they should have done. So it's not so much that we bought players that other clubs were going to get, but we paid someone a backhander to change their minds or anything along those lines. It's more a case of people essentially like creaming money off the top of Manchester United amongst other things that are going on. And for me, that's, if the manager has been involved in that, if he's aware of any of that, forget the football for a moment. That's beyond sackable. I'm actually happy with Rasmus Haaland as an example, who's a player that's a player whose deal's under the microscope. But if we've ended up paying £20 million more for him just to give a couple of agents an extra bump, or just to make a club more money, or to make somebody else more money, and the manager's aware of that, you got to go. And what's really interesting was this line that was sent through to me. And I want to read this out to you, because this for me is what makes me feel a little bit more comfortable about it. That Man United, we all know that Ten Hag's been taken off of transfer activities, and the reports are going to, when all these surface, are going to show that one of the biggest reasons that Ineos removed him almost instantly from being involved in transfers is part of this investigation. And their words to me were, Ineos will pull up every single stone, every single carpet, and open up every single cupboard. That's what they do. It does feel like there has been almost everybody kind of filling their pockets and getting out of it what they want, as opposed to looking at it as club first. And if we've ended up overpaying for 4 or 5 players, that's another player that you can never buy, because you can't ever get that money back. So for me, I want this to be investigated. And if we've done any legitimate wrongdoing in terms of cheating the systems, then you punish Manchester United. If anybody internally has been screwing us over by paying too much money for players that we could have got cheaper, them and everybody around them has got to go. And if it really is that level of fraud, let's call it, I don't want to sound like a grasp, but let's call the police. Like, for me, that's thieving off the fans as far as I'm concerned. So look, I'm not about protecting anybody in this. I'm about protecting Man United. And if they've done this wrongdoing, they've hurt my football club. And unlike a lot of people whose clubs are under investigation, I want the people that have damaged my club to be punished and prosecuted, because you're hurting us. And that's not a dig at you, LB. I've
never seen LB smile.
Is it not? Is it not?
It's not a dig at you. I'm just saying. But no, because a lot of people in the comments saying, will you be consistent? Yes, I will want everyone who's done this to my club punished. The club we punished alongside of it, but then you remove these people, I'll condemn these people, and then we move on, because I don't want my club to be involved in any type of cheating, whether it hurts us or benefits us, because that's not what sport's about for me personally. And I know LB agrees with that, because it'll be like that with his club if it goes wrong. He might just not. My brother just might not want to admit it right now. But yeah, I'm. What do you make of all this, LB?
Well, I mean, if it's true, strip the Premier League titles that Ten Hag's won. Strip the Champions Leagues that he's won. Yeah, strip all the titles that United have won. This is a disgrace. Now, listen, I think I don't know what's gone on for you. Yeah, obviously it's early days on this sort of what's happened. All I would say is, right, and I think I speak for quite a lot of people here. Yeah, is that when this Ten Hag geezer come in and he spends 95 million euros on Anthony, eyebrows were raised. Serious, yeah, seriously raised. Like, what is going on there? He then went back in for Lisandro Martinez, 60 million euros. That's worked out quite well. Well, it's worked out all right, I suppose. And I just thought to myself, that's a bit of a madness. You know what I mean? He's going straight back to Ajax. You know what I mean? The club that he's just left and spent best part of 160 million euros on two players. Like, what's going on here? And especially Anthony. I mean, nobody in the world thought he was worth that. And in fact, I'm pretty sure there was reports out that like the year before they was considering selling him for like 30 or something like that. So it's I guess Dan's kind of right. Yeah, Pops is kind of right on this in that United have had no proper structure at the football club. They've let Ten Hag come in and buy players, which is wrong. Yeah, that era of football is over. Gone are the days where the managers pick every player that the club signs, because that's not how football works now. Football's short term. You build the club with the players, you build the style, and then you bring the coach, not the manager, the coach in to coach the players. If the coach can't do it, the coach goes. You sack the coach, you get another coach who works in a similar style to what you're looking for. United was still, you know, in the old ages of letting Ten Hag buy all the players. Do you know what I mean? Which is strange, and that's another problem they're going to have if they sack him. Who's going to want half of these players that he's bought? So I don't know, man. It's interesting, and of course, like I say, if something's gone on here with the transfers, then it needs to be looked into. And from like the people for United who have signed this off, they might be culpable as well, because like who's doing the due diligence? Like you said, like they basically robbed from the football club. So well, if it is true, of course.
The only thing I will say on the back of that, though, the only thing, sorry, Tel, the only thing just quickly I'll say on the back of that is for me, I understand what LB's saying, and he's right. Football's completely changed. I don't know that eyebrows were massively raised when Ten Hag was bringing his Ajax team that he was fairly successful with over there to Manchester United. Where the eyebrows were raised was how he couldn't get the best out of any of them, and it was like got to the stage now. It's like
Anthony, bro. You don't think eyebrows were raised at 90 million euros?
I think
eyebrows were raised because it was only a few. Initially, we thought, okay, it's a lot of money. He was getting bigged up. And then I think it was only a few months later, it all came out that we could have signed him a few weeks earlier for 35 million. And the Man United recruitment team, who were ignored, this shows our structure is terrible, said we would advise to not pay more than 25 million. Ten Hag has convinced the board that it's okay to pay 90 odd million pounds for him. Crazy.
So this is my point, right? This is my point, because you're right, eyebrows raised on prices. Totally agree with that. In terms of you're bringing players over from Ajax, I don't think eyebrows are raised with that, because that's what you do, right? And the same as Arsene Wenger back in the day. I know we're comparing eras here, but he was buying the players from Monaco over to Arsenal. He knew Nicolas Anelka was the next best thing. He knew Petit from Monaco. He knew Henry from Monaco. He knew Vieira from his early days. So that can happen, right, with management. The problem you've got is when you bring that back to it, there is absolutely no same page for anybody at that board in the structure of Manchester United that are okay. They're just going, go on and mate, do what you can with these Ajax lads. And that's the problem you've got, because when he isn't doing what do you do then? Now you're stuffed. It's like, well, we're going to have to go and get another manager in and get another load of players now. Like, that is the problem you've had at Manchester United, mate. And then he's been allowed to do that. And now there's a complete corruption with it all. And they're like, so 35 million, now it's turned into 95 million euros. What's happened there? Who's been getting this money? Has he been saying, you know, and they're going to let us have Anthony, but I need 20 million. This guy needs 20 million, but we'll pay the 30 million titles for it. We don't know what's happened now. It's mad. And then to allow this to happen is shocking from Manchester United in terms of how it's just to be allowed to give the keys to Ten Hag. Mad, absolutely mad.
Totally agree. And as I say, I don't think this is the club signing players with brown envelopes and doing dodgy deals to get the yeses. I think this is the as you say, the keys to the door being potentially given to Ten Hag, his agency Sports Entertainment Group. Now, the CEO of Ajax, who has sort of overseen some of these deals or been involved with the club, he was no longer he was the co-owner of that agency. I think he gave that up so he could become this chairman. But at the same time, let's live in the real world and not what it says on paper. He's probably still making some money out of that agency in some way, shape, or form. You know, oh, listen, if I'm the CEO of this and we can get 90 million for this player or this amount of money for this individual, it's all, I just feel you look back at some of the stories, you look back at the overpaying on players, you look back at the obsession with buying particular individuals that he went for, which was ridiculed at the time as bad eye test or bad talent ID. You then look at the fact that the CEO is now being suspended for insider trading. There's a current investigation going on to Ten Hag's son and the agency that he works at for dodgy dealings. You add it all together, and like I've said about multiple other clubs in this circumstance, there's no smoke without fire. At the very least, it must be investigated. It must be looked at. But what's really positive for me is that Ineos are already all over this, according to the people I've spoken to today, and they're not having any of it. And that's the positive for Man United fans, is that if this all does come out, the good element is the people that are going to be running the club from the summer are going to have no connection to this because it's new people. But this is the type of stuff that needs to stop. Because it basically applies to that weird logic some football fans have of it's not my money, just pay whatever's needed to sign players. Should never be the case. We should never be advocating for our clubs to continually play over market value for players, because it leads to this type of thing being able to happen, because we're just so blasé to how much money is being spent. If he's a 30 million pound player and you're dropping 80, 90 million pound on him, that should be red flags to everybody from moment one. And let's not pretend. And again, it's all allegations right now, but let us not act like there isn't corruption in all sports at every level right across this planet. To think that it isn't at the highest end of football, especially when it comes to transfers and agents, I think you're deluding yourself. There's a United fan called Lucky in here that's saying this channel's waffle. It's not waffle. I know you're a Man United fan and you don't like this story, but for me, there's someone involved at my club who is hurting our club by overpaying for players. I want it out. I want this news out. I don't want it.
What could happen here, though, Tel? What do you think could happen here? Like, what could the punishment be?
Do you know what? Let's just do it on the guise that it's not the club brown enveloping to sign players they shouldn't. If we've cheated to sign players and we've done things against FIFA and UEFA's regulations to sign players, it could be transfer bans or point deductions for us if we've done that. If it's the other end, which feels more likely that we're overpaying for players, I don't know if it's against... I don't know what laws of the game it breaks in terms of punishing Manchester United, but it still could. I mean, ignorance is probably not a good enough excuse, is it? So it depends on the level here, but there could be anything from transfer bans to points deductions to individual bans. So agents losing licenses, managers being suspended. You know, if it turns out Ten Hag is aware the club overpaid by £100 million for players to line the pocket of his son, I can't imagine UEFA and FIFA letting him just manage. I can't imagine.
Here's the thing, though. Who signed this off at United, right? Because I'm looking at his stats here, hadn't he? And what did Ollie say? Ollie said in that overlap thing that they valued him at, what, 30 million quid when he was there?
Yes.
Yeah, so in the time that Ollie left and Anthony signed him, he went up basically 60 mil. In the year before United signed him, I know football's not all about G&A before someone tries to cut me. You know, he got 12 G&A in the Eredivisie. So who has signed that off? Who has looked at that and gone, okay, you're the manager, you can make the signings. But just FYI, why are we paying 90 million euros for a guy that got 12 GA in the Eredivisie? Do you know what I mean? Like that. Oh, LB, look at the year before. 17. It's not
mate, you're spot on. And this goes back to what I've said for years. When you have non-footballing people making footballing decisions, this happens. We've all watched, you know, Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. I watch a great show called with Taffa, which is called Bar Rescue, where people that don't know how to run restaurants or how to run bars buy them and ruin them. This is what Man United have done as a football club. The owners came in, once Sir Alex and David Gill left, bankers and accountants started running the football club and making football decisions. And this is what happens. Because at the end of the day, tell me an industry you know very little, a working class normal industry you know nothing about, LB. Do you know much about plumbing and gas engineering in a house? Okay.
No.
So a well-spoken plumber and gas engineer could probably make you pay thousands of pounds more to fix something than is necessary if he's well-spoken and he sells it well, because you don't know what you're doing. And if you haven't got anyone to ask, you'll get fooled. And that is what I feel like happens at Man United all the time. Agents and managers and players, if they're good, if they can articulate themselves well, they've been able to convince the Woodwards and the Richard Arnolds and all of these bankers and these accountants, they've been able to convince them of whatever they like, because they don't know what they're looking at, because they're not football people. They haven't got a football education or a pedigree within the game. And that, for me, there's been so many decisions, whether it's overpaying for players, underselling players, everything, right? In terms of going in these different directions all the time. It's just, honestly, it's been absolutely horrendous. So I'm not necessarily surprised to see this.
Yeah. No, I just want to point something else out as well. This is, again, just on the Anthony thing as well. So sorry, just to deviate, but this is just too funny. I just see that he's played 23 games in the Premier League this season and hasn't got a single goal or an assist.
No, he's awful. He's awful, mate. I can't.
I just seen it then, and I was like, wait, is that right?
It will go down as one of the worst signings Manchester United in history. And you've had some. Listen,
and it should be investigated, Potsy. It should be investigated. If Ollie's come out and said they only valued him when he was the manager, they had him on a short and they valued him at 30 million. Yeah. How has it gone from 30 million to 90 million in what, a couple of months?
Look, there's a Chelsea deal that I've been calling out for years. I don't understand how I'm going to get the monetary values wrong here because I haven't looked at them for a while. But you can't sign David Luiz for 50 million and have him flop. Sell him, I don't know, you can't buy him for 35 million. He flops. Sell him for 50 million to PSG. He kills it. You buy him back for less than you originally bought him. It doesn't make sense. You buy someone at 35 million, they flop, you sell him for less. They then go and do the business and kill it. You buy them back and you've got to pay more. That's how a normal transaction would go. I always looked at that as a deal and thought, don't smell right. The Anthony one is one at Man United that doesn't smell right in any way, shape, or form, and it does need to be looked at because these things do. We want sports to be clear, and it's crazy to me. And more of the story is going to come out. We've got some comments here that says I'm not entirely sure if this is accidental or deliberate, but wasn't Terry complaining? Okay, we'll come back to that one about Liverpool in a minute. Terry, as a United fan, yeah, right. Yeah, listen. I understand. I mean, you might smell like your name actually suggests. I'm not even going to lie, bruv. But the point for me is that I am a Man United fan, and tough love is needed about your own football club. It is, in my opinion, if all this turns out to be true, if you're a Man United fan who wants it brushed under the carpet, you don't love the club. That's my honest opinion.
Facts.
The issue with Man United is you've had non-footballing people pulling the strings over the last decade. This is what happens when you don't know what you're doing. 110%. It's almost like I almost don't feel sorry for them because you shouldn't have been in that, you shouldn't have put yourself in that position. Didn't Raul, I can't pronounce that name, didn't he do that? Yeah, he did. I think there was rumours that something like that was done at Arsenal as well.
It was like ridiculously corruption. I can't believe nothing actually went into that further because that is mad. Pay him 72 million for Pepe over like a structured period of time of like 4 years, like 14 million a year or something crazy like that, man. That was bizarre. That was Raul Sanlehi in bed with that. What was that Brazilian football agent's name? Kia Jarapkin or whatever you say.
Okay. The Tevez guy.
Yeah, that's it, man.
And that's what happens in these situations. It's all about someone's got into bed with somebody and you can't get yourself out of it. And again, I'll stand by it. I'm not one to, I don't do the whole, I know people don't like those comments if I don't think you're a Man United fan if you say that, but I just generally see that about life. If you say you love somebody, then you want the best for it. Somebody or something. If you say you love it, then you want the best for it. And sometimes the best for somebody or something is tough love and putting things out into the open and actually dealing with the problem. Brushing it under the carpet or saying, I don't care, it's okay, it's crazy. How could you not care that people have potentially been rubbing millions of pounds off your club, which will impact us in every single which way? You never get the money back, by the way. Like, you never get it back. If you ever lost money and people go, it's okay, I'll earn more next month. No, you'll never get that money back. It'll never come back to you. It's impossible unless you go and take it. Question for all of you. What did it say? Could the Luton manager do better at a bigger club because his style of play has been tough for big clubs? Only his players let him down.
Difficult one, that one, man, because managing a team at the top of the table, is completely different, obviously, to managing a team at the bottom. Like, you have to play to win. Yeah. Now we'll get on to Arteta and how we didn't play to win. But being at the bottom, you don't always have to play to win. Like, you can set up your teams to be super defensive and take a point. So, I mean, he's done a fantastic job. And for me, I think if Luton survive this year, I think he should get manager of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah, so do I.
Unbelievable.
I think he's done it. I think they're a match made in heaven, man. I've been so impressed with him, man, in all of the press conference, how he handles the media, how he's got the fans on side, how he's turned that football club into a place. And actually, that ground is horrible to go to, by the way. A lot of big clubs have struggled there, you know. So, yeah, man, I think it is mad. You go over the years and you think how many relegation managers went on to go and manage at the top level. I can't think of many, if I'm honest. I can't think of any that did well from it. So it is a massive, massive difference from, even the jump from Brighton to Chelsea, or if you'll see Brighton to Liverpool, you'll see that if De Zerbi was to go to United or Chelsea or Liverpool, I think you'd see a huge, huge struggle for him. I really do. I think it's completely different.
Yeah, it is a very different scenario, but if he keeps them up and does well for a few more years, and listen, there are bigger clubs that will pay a lot bigger wages. There's that element of me where, if, for instance, Everton in the summer offered him a 5-year deal worth 10 million quid, I'd say go for it, mate, because he's probably earning nowhere near that amount of money. He probably hasn't got what I call FU money, where he can just live forever on it. And I always like to see people do well and earn enough money where that's it, they never have to work again. I always like seeing that. So if he gets that opportunity and it's right for him and his family, he should definitely take it. You mentioned the weekend already. Obviously, Arsenal, it has been a crazy couple of days. The media fallout, like Hamza must have posted about 10 clips now of Arsenal fans clapping the draw, and he's angry about it. The media are talking about how Arsenal not attacking is bad advert for the Premier League, and they've embarrassed the Premier League. And I've also seen quotes saying this is the worst City team in a decade. Arsenal didn't try and beat them. It's embarrassing. Do you feel like that, Dan? Do you feel embarrassed by Arsenal getting a draw on Sunday?
Yeah, Man City are awful.
He wasn't embarrassed, man. He was there, sat on the couch, fucking cheering, got the popcorn. I seen it, man. The balloons, everything. They would have a party over at AFTV.
I clapped the team. It was James who did that. James went, yes! I thought he was going to have a baby. I thought, you're all right, mate. But listen, he did come out and he said, look, I stand by it. I'm really happy. Yeah, I don't understand how...
Hold it. Yes, that's it.
I see it full time. Has he blown the whistle?
Yeah.
Yes! Come on! Well done, Arsenal.
Yeah, that was a little clap from you, Paul.
Exactly. Thank you, Terry. Thank you for confirming that, because I did just go, why is he cheering, if I'm honest? But listen, it does surprise me.
Is that what you say? Is that what you're doing? Yeah. What is this clown doing?
It does surprise me because, I say this, Manchester City were awful, and how did Arsenal not beat them? And I'm obviously talking tongue-in-cheek, because Man City weren't awful. I didn't look at Manchester City and think, oh my God, this is a mess. We're going to win about 3 or 4-0 here. There's no way I did. In the first 20 minutes of the game, they're absolutely dominating us. They literally had all of the football. So I honestly think it was one of two things. We either come to set and part of us, or we come to go, do you know what, let's give it a go. They had all the ball, and we thought, well, we ain't going to win like this or take anything if we carry on like this. We're going to have to change the way that we're going to start play this game out. It doesn't really bother me, the fact that we know we can put in a performance like that. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a compliment as well to Manchester City, because they're a top side still. Anybody who thought we were going to go to the Etihad and blitz them, you are buzzing. That is not going to happen. Any time that we've tried to take them on toe-to-toe, we've lost 3, 4s or 5s. So why do people think that was going to happen? Now, the reason is because there's certain sections of the fan base at Arsenal that tell everybody we're the best team in the world and that we've got the best 11 in the world. So that's why people are going at them, saying, well, why didn't you prove that by going at Manchester City's best 11 and proving that you're the best 11 in the world? But I honestly don't. There's two things I don't agree with. I don't agree that Manchester City were depleted. They didn't have their goalkeeper or their centre-half. But Kyle Walker, nobody wanted him to play anyway. From what Man City fans I was speaking to on previews, everyone was like, oh, thank God for that. He's injured. We'll play Akanji there. He's better. Yeah, Ake got an injury, but the rest of their team, you're telling me that they were depleted. They had Haaland, they had De Bruyne, they had Bernardo, they had the best players everyone's talking about and being the best in the world. So I ain't having that for one. The other thing I'll say is, I honestly believe, still, when I say this every week, I don't know why, but we rattle neutral fan bases the most, and I don't get why. I really don't understand it. I'll tell you what happened at the weekend. A Chelsea fan rang up a Spurs fan, who rang up a West Ham fan, who rang up a United fan, who rang up a Liverpool fan, and they said, Unfortunately, boys, man, Arsenal haven't got battered. What are we going to do? Well, they've done well, haven't they? They've got their point. But let's not say they've done well. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll tell them they bottled it and that they parked the bus. Oh, that's a good idea, Dave. Yeah. Oh, Frank, what we'll do is we'll tell everyone that they parked the bus. Get on social media quick and try and rattle the Arsenal fans. And the Arsenal fans sit there going, really? 0-0 has rattled this many people? Oh, my God. We are relevant again. And I love it. I'm here for it. It's great to see. And we parked the bus. Even though there were 7 players around Jesus when he was trying to shoot at their goal, by the way, go back and look at it. No one mentions that. But we parked the bus and we got a 0-0 performance. I thought the defensive performance was outstanding. I've got to say, I thought it was amazing. Haaland does not like playing against Arsenal, man. They've scored 1 goal against us in 3 games, and he's now playing at Chelsea. So that says a lot. That says a lot, man. Cole Palmer's the only one who scored against us in the Community Shield, and he's at Chelsea now. So Haaland's not had a good time against Gabriel and Saliba, man. I did say after the game that there's a potential missed opportunity, and I think some people took that as what you thought Man United, Man City were there for the taking and depleted. No, quite the opposite. I thought it was a missed opportunity because there was a couple of chances we had that I really felt we should have done better with. If Trossard puts that ball across to Martinelli, he's got a free shot on goal. Does he score it? We don't know. But there's an unbelievable opportunity there to win the game. And I think that is our Mark Overmars moment of 98 at Old Trafford that we could potentially missed. So that was the reason I thought it was a potential missed opportunity. But this is an unbelievable side, by the way. They've just won the treble. So I don't know. There's a lot of people that are rattled about us, and I don't quite get it.
Do you feel, Dan, that if you'd have lost, they'd have said, can't believe you got beat
100%.
by like this depleted team? If you'd have opened, if you would have attacked too much, if you'd have won, they'd have said, yeah, but you beat a depleted City team. Why are you flexing? It's not that big a deal. And because you got the draw, it was a case of you didn't do enough to win. I sort of feel that when it came to this game for Arsenal, win, lose or draw, a lot of the media and a lot of rivals were going to criticize you irrespective of what's gone on. Because when I asked a few rivals last week around the expectations, what would this result mean, that result mean, they didn't really want to specify what a draw would do. It was all win and they'll be in a good space. Yeah. Lose and it's all over. What would they get a draw? Oh, we'll see. I always felt like there was a narrative being created against Arsenal irrespective of what you did.
Facts, bro. And the only way we would have actually stopped that and shut everybody up is if we would have won 3-0. And I did not have that as a prediction. I don't think anybody had Arsenal to win 3-0 in this game. If we would have, everyone would have gone, can't say anything there. I'm absolutely bad at it. And I think they were shocked as well that there was a 0-0. And I think when you look at it, people have then gone, what are we going to say now? How are we going to rattle Arsenal fans now? Well, we have to say that they parked the bus and it was like, wow, your team's not that great. You couldn't beat a depleted Man City side. A depleted Man City side that I think their centre-halves cost about 220 million, by the way. It's incredible. I don't know. I know LB feels very similar. He's spoken to me about it previously, but I do think it's mad that is the narrative. But it means that we're doing something right, man, because they are so used to seeing Arsenal, let's get in the lights. It's going to be 4-0 Man City.
Okay, can I come here, right? Because to play devil's advocate a little bit, yeah? If Arsenal don't win the league this year and miss out on the league by a point or 2, people will look to that game against City and go,
no, they won't.
Well, they might do. If you win, okay.
They'll look to West Ham.
Wait. If you win every game now to the rest of the season, and so do Liverpool, which is unlikely, but let's say it does, then they will. Because ultimately, why? Because you didn't try to win the game.
Yeah,
Arteta came for a point.
You will look back at the West Ham and Fulham result and go, what the hell happened there with Arsenal? You won't go, if they would have won at Man City. Because let me tell you why they won't, Mel B. Because last season, home and away, we lost to Manchester City. That wasn't why we lost the league. It was because we didn't win at West Ham 2-0 up. We didn't beat Liverpool when we were 2-0 up. We didn't beat Southampton at home. We were 3-1 down.
Yeah, but people will say, why didn't you try to win? People will say, why didn't you try to win at the end?
Did you lose home and away last year to City?
Yeah, to City.
So, yeah, if you'd have won those 2 games, you'd have had 6 more points. They'd have had 6 less points, and you'd have won the league.
And if we would have beaten Southampton and West Ham and Liverpool, then we would have had 6 points and we would have won the league. That's not the same, exactly the same thing. So you will always look to the ones that you should have won on paper. You won't go, anyone can draw to Man City at the Etihad. Anyone could lose to Man City at the Etihad. I will not look back at this game and go, if only we tried. Because
No,
we could have won that game.
Well,
we could have won that game 1-0.
I think it's a good point.
The right pass.
Bro, I think it's a good point. Yeah, but we could have won the game 1-0 if Ake didn't completely miss the ball and headed the ball in the net.
This is what I'm saying. So why are we looking at that game? Why are we looking at the West Ham game?
It's because no, because Dan, it's because you didn't try to win the football match. That's what people are saying.
Yes, they did.
I don't think they tried to win the football. I think he came with a game plan to get a point, and that's exactly what they got.
I think they came to not lose, but to try and win it on the counter.
That's exactly what we did.
At the end of the day, there is still there is a respect for you. And I was listening to Jamie O'Hara said this. Somebody on Sky said similar. They keep trying to do when Liverpool and City go head to head, they just go for it. So I went and looked at the facts behind that claim. And in the 2 title race seasons that Liverpool and City have been up against each other, Liverpool have failed to win at home and at least draw away on both occasions. They drew the last title race. They drew both games, and I think they drew at home and lost away in the first title race back in 2018-19. So if they would have taken Arsenal's approach in the games home and away against City and been less attacking, slightly more pragmatic, defended resolutely, and won 1 and drawn 1 and walked away with 4 points, they would have won the league both those seasons, and it wouldn't be 5 City titles to Liverpool's 1. It'd be 3 titles to 3, based on the logic that this head-to-head clash between City and Arsenal is the de facto decider of the season. Because if you're going to apply that logic to this campaign, we have to go back and apply it to all the campaigns when the top 2 teams, maybe the top 3 teams, go head-to-head. And Liverpool didn't play like Arsenal, and therefore they didn't win the league. So when you look at the facts behind the matter, Arsenal have gone for this approach, and it's yielded 4 points home and away against Liverpool and against City. And in the title race between the two of you, the team that's come out on top has always been City when it comes to Liverpool and City, because you've won 5 league titles to 1. Arsenal are not as good overall as Manchester City, especially not away from home. You're the best team in the world. To go with the same gun-ho approach Liverpool have done in title races, for me, would be stupid, because Liverpool never succeeded doing that. So being goaded into, it's a bit like I said this before, you both match-going fans at times. You know when a centre-backs are clearing the balls into the channels, the opposing fans always goad them. And they goad them by hoof, because what they want you to do is play dilly-dally on the ball. They want your ego to kick in. They want you to make mistakes. So all Arsenal, what they're trying to do to Arsenal here is make their fans and make the media start demanding you guys be more expansive, less defensive, because they want Arsenal to be more vulnerable, in my opinion. And
no, I agree with that point. I agree with that point, Terry. But I think the reason, listen, first of all, I think it's a good point for Arsenal. And I think what Arteta did was the correct thing to do. Yeah, I'm just playing devil's advocate, and I'm explaining why people are saying that Arsenal made a mistake. If Arsenal, don't win the league, Dan can sit here all he wants and say, oh, it was West Ham, it was Fulham. But ultimately, whatever you guys say, Arsenal did come to City and park the bus. I agree with that strategy. I think it was the right thing to do. But if they miss the league by a point or 2 points and lose it on goal difference, people will, whether you like it or not, go, well, maybe they should have tried it at the Etihad. Now, you can sit there and say, well, actually, it was the Fulham game. And actually,
would they be right? Would they be right in your opinion, though? Is it
you'll never know, because no one knows what would have happened if they full sent it. Now, I think if they full sent it, clearly,
we all know why everybody wanted Arsenal to go at City. We all know. Because we would have lost the game like we have the last 4 years.
I don't think there's a guarantee we would have lost the game. I don't think there's a guarantee we lost the game.
We didn't like the fact part of the bus because we didn't pick 3 points up. Even though, by the way, Man City had absolutely no chance in the whole game whatsoever.
How many teams in the last
about Man City? We're talking about Arsenal being poor. Why?
How many teams in the last 5 years have gone to the Etihad, gone all-out attack, and walked away with victories? Fact. Genuinely, how many have done that? So
which is why I think he did the right thing. I think
I agree, and that's what I don't someone said, Spurs and Chelsea went there this year. Yeah, they were more attacking, but they still only got draws. Like, it's not as though they were winning. If 4 or 5 teams had gone to the Etihad this year and attacked City and press high and had beaten them, I would accept the argument. And I get you're playing devil's advocate, LB. I'm not having a pop at your question. Your question is you're playing devil's advocate. It's hypothetical. I just think no one was predicting Arsenal to win. All the people salty Arsenal drew are the same people that laughed at the idea Arsenal would get a result of any kind here. So that's why I find it difficult to take them seriously. The same people saying it's the worst City team in a decade are also predicting you to do a double treble.
That's also BS.
That's
That's also BS. Listen, there's a lot of people that are speaking nonsense about this game. Yeah, I was on Twitter just before the game, and people was like, "Oh, this is a terrible City team. It's a weak City team." I was looking at the team going, "Hang on a minute, what's going on here? We got Ake playing, we got Gabriel playing, we got Akanju's been our best defender, we got Ruben Diaz playing. Our midfield and attack was strong as it can possibly be, and Ortega's probably the second best goalkeeper in terms of a backup in Europe, or certainly up there. I mean, they're talking about potentially going to Bayern Munich in the summer. So I don't know what was going on there. Listen, like I say, for me, I think Arteta came with a game plan. Right, one sec. I think he came with a game plan, yeah, and I think his strategy was: if we draw this game, there's 9 matches left, and in theory, we don't have to think about Manchester City again unless we fail. Because if we win all our football matches, but so does Potsy, don't matter. Arsenal are above us. So I think he literally come and thought, right, let's eliminate Manchester City almost from our thinking. Because if we now handle our business for the rest of the season, we won't have to think about them. He's probably looking at Liverpool, and I genuinely do think this. I think Liverpool will drop points in at least 2 games now for the rest of the season. Probably not more than 2 games. So he's set Arsenal players a challenge. Liverpool are going to drop points maybe in 2 games. Can we go for the rest of the 9 games and drop points in only 1 match? Now, if Liverpool go on, so this is the thing, people say, yeah, but now he's give control to Liverpool. For me, if Liverpool go on now and win 9 games in a row, you just have to say, congratulations, Liverpool. That's an incredible achievement. Like, fair dues. Like, what can you do? But I think what Arteta's done, I think Arteta's played the long game. And I think he's been really tactical about the title running. And I think he's done the right thing. But if they do lose the title by a point or 2, whether you like it or not, people will look back at the game and go, well, maybe you shouldn't have parked the bus and actually gone for it.
And if we win the league by a point, they'll look back and go, what a point that was. This is how you look at it. Exactly. You look at it in two ways, man. And I think for me, there's just a lot of people that are not happy that Arsenal didn't get smashed. That's what it looks like on from a neutral fan base perspective. Very bizarre. I've never seen so much drama over a 0-0 game, which was boring, by the way. And it's like all of this drama's coming out, and it's like, well, and you're right, Tel. I don't really feel like Arsenal fans would have got respected even if they would have won it. It's just one of those things at the moment. We're a very hated club. Understandably, for some of our fan base that are extreme and get on people's tits, I get it. Even though all fan bases have got it, by the way. And that's the way I see it. I just honestly, you win the league by a point, people will look back at the Etihad and go, bloody hell, that was a massive point then. You lose it by a point, and maybe people will if they want. If that's the game they want to pick, this game is so vital and so pivotal, fair play.
And the irony is, the area of Arsenal that I think needed to be criticised in the game was, I think that Arteta started the match with not enough pace on the pitch, and he didn't bring pace on soon enough, because where City have been gettable this season is on the transition or on the counter, whichever phrase you want to use. And I thought you tried to do it and you had some openings, but there wasn't enough speed to capitalize upon it as other teams have done in terms of the opening. So the area of which I would have criticized, or I criticized Arteta and Arsenal, seems to have been completely ignored. And I understand the broadcasters doing this because they're kind of contracted to, because the amount of money they spend, it wasn't a good advert. I disagree. I actually kind of like every now and then watching games like Sunday where it's really tactical and technical, and it's probably going to be a mistake that costs it rather than individual brilliance. Because the question I went to throw to you, LB, is, I mean, do you feel that City did enough? Did you feel that you went aggressive enough and you attacked enough to try and win it? Or do you also feel that you fell into a little bit of a, we'll just take the point now as well?
No, we definitely didn't want to take a point. I think you can see that from the fans' reactions, from the player reactions in the interviews. The league for me now is it's going to be very, very difficult to win. I think the only way we win the league now is if we win it 9 out of 9. I think if we win 9 out of 9, we'll win the league. But that's the only way I see us winning the league, based off of maths. If you do the maths, because of the inferior goal difference, which we're not gonna get a better goal difference than Liverpool and Arsenal, mate. Liverpool play Sheffield United at home, yeah, and Arsenal 11 ahead of us, so it's not doable. So for me,
they've got Luton at home next.
Yeah, they've got. I mean, we have Luton at home, to be fair, but they're 9 or 11 ahead of us, something like that. So for me, no, it was not a good point. We tried. Listen, Arsenal are a good defensive side. Potsy and all the Arsenal fans love to tell us how good they are at defending. They're good at defending. They have Declan Rice in front. They have a couple of other players like Jorginho, who marshal in front of that defense really well. We just weren't creative enough. We didn't create anything. So, no, we definitely didn't want a point. And I think, like I say, the fan reaction, Bernardo Silva coming out saying we are now no longer the favourites, Pep saying the same thing. It's not mind games. It's because if you actually do the maths, people can sit there and say you're being fake humble. Do the maths. Do the maths. How does City come to the top? Because you're basically saying to me, all right, well, if City drop any more points, by the way, our next game is against Aston Villa, yeah? We've not beaten one team in the top 5 this season. Not one. Now, people will sit there and say, oh, don't worry about Villa. You'll beat them. Their away record's great. People said that about Chelsea when we went to the Bridge. People said that about Chelsea when we played them at home. People said that about when we played Spurs at home. And by the way, we've still got to go to Spurs. We've still never scored a goal there. So the only way I see City winning this title now is if we win 9 games out of 9. Now, can we do it? Yeah, we can do it. We've done it before. Certainly doable. But if City drop any more points, it is 100% over. 100%. And we should focus our attention on the Champions League and the FA Cup. Simple as that. I think for me now, Liverpool and Arsenal, they are in the driving seat, especially Liverpool, because obviously they're at the top. And they've got insurance. They've got a small insurance policy in terms of they can drop maybe a game there. But we are now relying on other teams to stop Liverpool and stop Arsenal.
How many games do you think Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City will drop then in 9?
So I'm saying Liverpool will potentially. I'm going for 2 draws. 2 draws, right? Which means City need to win 9 out of 9. Arsenal, I reckon a draw, maybe 1 loss, which again, City need to win 9 out of 9. But yeah, so people say, no, Liverpool will lose or drop points in more than that. Wait, there's 9 games left. I'm saying out of 9 games, yeah, they're gonna drop points in 2. So you're telling me they're gonna drop points in 3, 4? That's nearly, you're getting off for nearly 50% there. You're not going to drop points in. Have you seen their title run? Their run is ridiculously easy.
They've dropped points in 9 games so far this season, which works out about 30% of their games so far. So if that was to continue, 9 games remaining, so 2 to 3 maximum based on their season run. Does that make sense? There's, if you look at their season run, it's going to be about 2, like you said, and maybe 3. It depends whether they're draws or defeats if they hit that 3rd number, if that makes sense. But I think you're right to a degree. Liverpool are the favourites now, and we didn't get around to talking about this yesterday. And it's a really good segue into. I think if City lose 1 more game, especially in a weekend or a game week,
you don't even think a draw, Terry, because I even think if we draw a game, we're done. Do the maths.
Maybe.
Mad.
Yeah, if you draw this midweek and go to 65 points on Arsenal and Arsenal and Liverpool win, then there's going to be 3 points between you and. Sorry, I'm a liar. There'll be 3 points between you and Arsenal, plus their better goal difference. And then there would be 5 points between you and Liverpool, plus their better goal difference. Again, it's not even about the maths. It's about the probability of you then having a 4-point jump and a 6-point jump over 2 teams who have only dropped points so far in 30% of the games they've played in, moving into 8 games to play, which means there's only room for 2 games for there to be dropped points in. You would need both teams to lose 3 matches each on probability almost. Yeah. You don't beat Villa is it midweek you play them? Tomorrow
night, yeah.
Tomorrow,
and then, by the way, we also got a Palace 12:30. Have you seen our record against Palace? That's not particularly good either. Well, we can say, come on. I'm just telling you the facts. Our record against Palace.
Well, you'll beat them. You'll beat both of them. I think you'll win. I think you'll win all 9. There you go. I said it.
Nah. What? Based on what?
I think you will. I think you'll win all 9. Based on the last few seasons that I've looked at Man City.
I think if we win all 9, I think we win the league. But that's the only way I think we win the league.
That's why I think Man City will still win the league, because I think you'll win all 9, and I don't think Liverpool and Arsenal will. That's why I still think Man City will win it, because they've shown me no evidence in the last few years that they don't do well on the back ends of season. Now, the only thing that could change, and I look at this and I ask you this, LB, seriously, I think you're better with Gundogan and Mahrez than Nunez or Kovacic and that Doku, who, by the way, is poor. I told you about him. He is just another. I don't know what he is. I don't know what he just trickery. Just looks brilliant on the eye, but doesn't actually do much. That's what I think from him. So that's the only thing that could let you down, I think. It's potentially Gundogan, who I think you miss massively. And then Mahrez, who is just a baller. That's the only reason that I can see. Otherwise, I'm just thinking Man City can go on and win, because Man City have got unbelievable talent, man. Like unbelievable talent. So that's why I think
they have. But this season, they've not won more than 6 games on the bounce. The 2 times they did that, first time it was ended with back-to-back defeats. The second time they did it, they drew against Chelsea, won their next 3, and then they've drawn 2 on the bounce again. So, I mean, they have done it in seasons gone by, but we're in a different season. We are in a different campaign. I agree with LB. I don't see them winning 9 on the bounce, City. I don't think they'll do it. I mean, people said 5-6 games ago they're going to win 15 on the bounce. They've drawn 3 of those. They've drawn 3 of those 15 they were going to win on the bounce already. So they need Liverpool and they need Liverpool and Arsenal to have a collapse. Both.
Here's the thing. The good thing is we're not losing matches. So we're doing something right. We're doing something. Yes. People will talk about the fact that Arsenal's defense this, Liverpool's defense that, but our defense is still very good. We've not lost a game since the beginning of December, which ironically was against Villa, who we play tomorrow night. Where we're struggling is in the forward line. We're not scoring enough goals. Yeah, we're not creating enough chances. We're not scoring enough goals. If we can sort that out, here's the thing: we're almost in in a decent position in the sense that like we've just got to go for it now. We've just got to go for it. Like at the end of the day, draws are no good for us. If we draw tomorrow night, I'm saying league's over. If we draw against Palace, I'm saying league over because mathematically, I don't see how we do it. So in one hand, we're in sort of like our minds are clear. We have to go into every game now knowing we have to win every single match. Whereas Liverpool might be like, if they're a little bit shaky towards say it's 1-1 towards the end of a game, they might go, oh, should we push? Should we not? You know, they're in a less clear mindset. We're not. We have to win every single game. Maybe that's copium. I accept, but that's the situation we're in.
Before we move on to talk about Liverpool and Arsenal in the title race, you mentioned about scoring goals. I wanted to segue slightly into this conversation because out of the blue, Roy Keane referred to Erling Haaland as a League 2 footballer. Ali McQuest has backed him. We had Staffy on the show the other day. Everyone now jumping on this. His approach play, his hold-up play, his link-up play, his touch, his passing, his vision, his creativity. He's all bang average to League 2 level. Everyone knows his goal scoring is elite. I've even seen people say to me today, this weird comment, he's a great goal scorer, but as a footballer, he's average. I don't quite understand that in professional football, and his goals don't mean too much. Where has this come from? Is he a bang average footballer in your opinion? I'd love to get your take on this, LB. I don't agree with it. I've defended him on 2 videos already. Where has this come from that suddenly Haaland is a bang average football player?
It's goals don't mean much. It's absolutely bizarre. I don't know who told you that, but we did win the treble last year. We've also won 2 trophies already this season. Listen, he's not the best player on the ball. We all know that. Is he League 2 standard? That's just ridiculous. Yeah, that's just Roy Keane just saying stuff for clicks or whatever. Yeah, it's irrelevant. But yeah, he's not up to the standard of a set maybe Harry Kane type striker, if we want to do that. But we didn't sign him to be Harry Kane. We signed him to put the ball in the back of the net, which he's doing very, very well. You know, he's already on 18 goals this season. He missed 2 months. Is he still top goal scorer in the league as well?
I assume so. I haven't looked, but I reckon he is.
I mean, he missed 2 months of football. He's still top goal scorer in the league. He's got 5 assists in the league this year, 8 assists last year, 8 assists the year before. I mean, Kane got 9 this year, 3 the year before that, 9 the year before that. So assists-wise, I mean, there's not much difference between him and Kane. Goals, I mean, he's absolutely slamming it in. I just think, like, what are people doing here? Seriously, this guy's a goal scorer. He's old-fashioned goal scorer. He's never going to be Lionel Messi on the ball. He's never going to be David Silva on the ball, but we don't need him to. What we need him to do is get in the penalty area and put the ball in the back of the net, which he's not doing as much since he come back from his injury, but across the season he's done very well. It's just ridiculous. It's just such a strange conversation, man. Like, I just don't get it at all. Like, is this what we're like? Why? Like, literally, there was so much to talk about in that game. Lack of creativity. Why didn't Foden create? Why didn't Kevin De Bruyne create? Why did he put Doku on? Why has he done it? Like, so many tactical decisions that you could have analysed and talked about. Yet Roy Keane wants to talk about Haaland being League 2 level, bro. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna hazard a guess, but Haaland probably scored more goals in these 2 years than Roy Keane scored in his whole career. This is what he's about. He's a goal scorer, not a link-up play. And if you wanted a link-up striker, you should have signed Harry Kane, not Erling Haaland. Ridiculous.
Listen, I personally, my favourite pundit, hands down, is Roy Keane. right? Love him. 0 F's given. Says it how it is. Not afraid who he offends. Love that. It's everything I want in a pundit, right? Not trying to protect a media job or protect how he's might not ever go and be welcome at Man United. Says it how it is. But he's had a stinker here, man. He's had a stinker here for me. I thought it was ridiculous what he was saying. I think he's gone over the top, try to have a dig at Manchester City by saying actually what this guy does as a footballer is not amazing, but he's an elite finisher. Instead of saying that, he's got in and said he's a League 2 level footballer. In terms of everything else that he does, who cares, man? If I'm a Man City fan and someone said to me, Haaland is League 2 level, isn't he? I'd go, yeah, if you want him to be, but he's scoring me goals and just won me a treble. Who the hell cares if this guy just scores goals? And it doesn't, by the way, it doesn't just score goals like, you know, like the Rooney and Aguero and Shearer and Henry levels. If this guy carries on, he will probably overtake them in the next decade from scoring these many goals in a Premier League. So I honestly was surprised by what he was saying. I didn't really know where it come from. Maybe it was because he got wrapped up by Gabriel and Saliba, and he was the talk of, oh, where's Haaland? He got pocketed and stuff like that. But I thought going in on him like that was a bit bizarre, man. I've got to say, because this guy.
Here's the thing. Can I just say something, Potsy? Can I say something, right? Okay, so what people need to understand, and I understand this because I watch every single City game, yeah? If you don't create chances for Haaland, he's not going to do very much. And at times, it is almost like playing with 10 men if you don't create him chances. So the problem isn't to do with Haaland. If you have Haaland in the team, he's a world-class finisher. We all agree that. You don't score 56 goals, yeah, in your first season in the Premier League if you're not a world-class striker. You don't beat goal-scoring records that were there when there was more than 40 games a season. Now we only play 38 if you're not a world-class striker. Yeah, you don't have the best goals per minute ratio in Champions League history. Erling Haaland has that if you're not a good goal scorer. The problem is, and this is what I said before, City are not creating chances. We're not creating enough chances for him. We need to go back to creativity. We need to find a way of getting that ball in the box for Erling Haaland to attack. Because if you don't do that, you are effectively almost playing with 10 men because he doesn't bring much to the table than that. But I don't have a problem with him not bringing anything else to the table if we created him chances and he's putting in the ball in the back of the net. If you look at some of his worst games this season, Wolves away, Arsenal at home, yeah? Didn't actually do anything bad. In all three of those games, we didn't create him a single chance. Not one. Not a single chance. You've got to create him chances. The problem for me is not necessarily with Haaland. It's with the players around him, not giving him the opportunities. And with the manager, not putting the players out there to be able to create the chances for him. But to say that is just ridiculous, man.
Do you know what's funny? This sort of bile, this kind of hatred that's come out in the last few days towards Haaland's mad to me. Now, I understand that he isn't the most, he's not Eric Cantona, he's not Wayne Rooney, he's not Dimitar Berbatov or any of these players, Lewandowski, Suarez. He doesn't have that control, touch, the dribbling, the passing range. He doesn't aesthetically please in that way. Nobody's ever claimed that he does, which is strange. No one, I can understand pushing back against it if the argument is that he is those things. No one's ever made those arguments. When they say his hold-up play is bad, I just went back while you two were talking and looked at the highlights when City smashed Arsenal 4-1 last year. His hold-up play for the opening goal was lauded. And I'm pretty sure if you went back and find the punditry from that, the Roy Keanes of this world are going to praise it. I haven't seen his hold-up play, his approach play, his general play referred to as bang average or League 2 level by professional pundits up until this game. I know there are some sort of the tacticos and your sort of hipster football fans online that have never really taken to him because he doesn't do all the technical things that they like. But that's just a preference thing for those individuals, you know? I don't particularly like opera music, even though I know it's very good. And I understand that they don't like what Haaland is, and they're going to jump on the bandwagon. But for Roy Keane to say that, for me, it's so disingenuous to what Erling Haaland is as a football player. His hold-up play is good. His approach play is good. Yes, a lot of his goals are tap-ins, as people call it. But let's not pretend that they're easy, because if they were, anybody could do it, and nobody else is. Also, there's elements of his game he's got to work on. I think he gets bullied a bit too easy by big, strong centre-backs. I think he can be got at. I think he can be rattled. That's fair criticism. And I think he's, for a big boy, I think he's got to show a little bit more aggression. I think he's got to phrase weight around a little bit more. And you know what? It might end up with a red card or two. You know, stick a few elbows in, stick a few knees in, get a bit more aggressive. I think that's fair feedback. I think that's fair. But to say he's a League Two footballer when the hardest skill in football is scoring goals, every football person worth their salt has said that in the past and will say it in the future. It's the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing for a club to find is someone that scores goals. As great as those technical midfielders are, as brilliant as those skillful dribbling wingers are, as hard as it is to find good quality centre-backs that play out from the back, there's far more of them in football, and always has been, than elite-level goal scorers. They are a finite commodity. There's a scarcity about them. It's why they're the most expensive to buy. And I've called this out against Arsenal a lot. I will keep the same energy when it comes to Man City and any team. I don't like this type of punditry. I get it from fans. I'm pushing it aside when it comes to fans. I don't like it because I think it's disingenuous to football. I actually think it's detrimental to the game that we love, making throwaway comments of that level. You can say at elite level, he's average at hold-up play. That's fair. But to say no one in League Two is as good at him as holding up the ball, no one. How do we know that? Because a lot of our big teams and even smaller teams play those sides in FA Cups. Which one of their strikers are holding the ball up better than Haaland does? Linking up better than Haaland does? It's a nonsense. It's an absolute nonsense. And then people are jumping on it because there'll be a striker somewhere that's rivaling this guy and they'll jump on it like a bitch in heat. And I just don't like that kind of analysis in any way, shape or form. And Haaland is one of the records that he's broke, the number of goals that he scores. And people say there's no variety. Just go watch like he's 50 goals last year. Yeah, a lot of them are tap-ins. But there's some absolute beautiful goals in there as well. And some of them are really good team goals that he's involved in. I just don't like the lies and disingenuous nature of it personally. So I'm standing by Erling Haaland on this one. He's no League Two, Championship, Eredivisie, Bundesliga. He is Premier League, La Liga, Champions League level. He is creme de la fucking creme as a striker. And that buzzword I mentioned, this is what someone said to me. He's probably the best finisher on the planet. But on a footballing perspective, it's a different story. There is no footballing perspective. There is no football. You don't judge footballers like you're judging ballet dancers at a competition or gymnastics where you're judging the form and the artistry of it. You're judging footballers on how they deliver in their position. His job and role is to be a goal scorer. You don't judge Declan Rice because he doesn't do what Zidane does. So why are you judging Haaland because he isn't doing what Harry Kane does? It's a different type of striker. I don't like this bullshit analysis. It's basic bitch for me. And it makes me angry. I don't even know why. He's not even a Man United player. Just gets up my nose.
No, it's the only striker, not striker, it's the only player in Champions League history, right, out of the top 50 goal scorers to have a goal to games ratio of more than a goal per game. Out of every single player in that top 50. You're talking about the best players here. Ronaldo, Messi, Lewandowski, Benzema, Van Nistelrooy, Muller, Henry, Mbappe, Salah, Drogba, Neymar, Aguero.
Just putting him with them names, man. Just putting him with them names is enough.
He's got the best record and the only player to have a goal more than every game. The only player on the top 50. And by the way, before someone says, "Oh yeah, but he was at City," his record in the Champions League is the worst at City. He played for Salzburg, had a goal per game over a goal per game. Dortmund the same. City is a goal per game. Like, come on, man. This is just like factual information.
Comment in here got me. This comment got me. It nearly made me snap, but I didn't, right? And imagine saying this to me of all people. It said, Terry, he's I can't find it now, but it says, Terry, he's average. You're just scared of the backlash. Me, scared of the backlash on social media for criticizing City. I've been out here. I've been the only content creator talking about their allegations. You know the backlash I get for that? Like saying one of their players isn't good enough, like I've said about some of their signings this season, I've done. I'm not going to sit here and lie about football. I'm not going to do it. No one is claiming that he is this technical God's gift, but calling him average is so over the top, disingenuous, and wrong. And this is the point. Again, I know hipster football fans won't, but everyone would buy him. Everyone.
Facts.
If he was available now and your club signed him, you would be having red panty night. Let's have it right. Let's have it right. You'd be having red. If when City get relegated and he's available on a free transfer, scared of the backlash, everyone's gonna want him. It's just I don't get it. And look, Roy Keane as well. Look, Roy Keane's needle. You probably find we know what Roy Keane's issue really is with him, don't we? It's between him and his dad. That's what it is. It's the second time he's tried to end the career of a Haaland. It's as simple as that. The second time. That's all he's done.
I will say just quickly, Tal, before we move on from that, was the battle between Gabriel and Haaland and Saliba, to be fair, is the closest thing I've seen since Keown and Van Nistelrooy, man. It was class. I loved everything about it. It was obviously not going to be as heated as that was Keane and Vieira's over the year, but I hadn't seen anything like that for a long time, and I was here for it, man. I loved it. And although it wasn't the most exciting of games, that battle, watching that, was probably the most exciting part of the game for me. Because that, for me, shows that we've got some warriors in our team and some monsters. And I love everything about this pairing at the back, man. Ben White deserves a mention as well. I thought he was very good. But when you look at these two, man, Gabriel and Saliba, they're absolute monsters. And long may it continue for me. I thought they just didn't give him a sniff. In a home and away leg now. And the battle at the end, you can see at the end as well, Pep getting involved. You can see that's going to be a battle that could be, could get good now in the next few years, man, for sure. So, I'm here for it.
It was great. It was a bit of a throwback. And like I say, I think Haaland needs to be a little more aggressive. Genuinely, I think he needs to be a little more. I used to get that feedback to Lukaku. I thought Lukaku, for a man with such size, was a little timid. And I think my cousin played at a much lower level, by the way. Played in Norway, actually. But ironically, he was a big lad, my cousin. 6'3", 6'4", but a bit timid on the bit. I used to say to him, stick it to him. You got about 16 stone of weight. Smash someone. Put yourself about. I know that's like an old-fashioned way of talking, but that's what your centre-back did to Haaland. They gave it some. You know, you could. I bet they were raking their studs down the back of his Achilles. I bet they were pinching the back of his legs. The dark arts, which we all did at Sunday League level. It happens in professional games. This here says Goldbridge said Haaland wouldn't start for Liverpool. What are your thoughts? He asked me, but I want to throw that to LB. Do you think Liverpool would sign Haaland and start him if they could?
I think Haaland would be the perfect striker for Liverpool.
So do I.
They play more of a Dortmund style, which gives him space. Look at the space Liverpool have in games because they open up football matches. Liverpool and City completely different in the way we play. We get on the ball, dominate. We try to pin teams back and little intricate passes to try and find a way through. Liverpool are happy to open up matches and have end-to-end. Everyone's seen it in the Brighton game. When you have end-to-end, you have space. Haaland thrives off space, ironically. We don't really have too much space. So I think he'd be the perfect striker for Klopp.
Can we just admit that Harry Kane and Haaland both start for any team in the world? Like, for me, it's mad that people even question that. Liverpool, who's getting ahead of him then in this Liverpool side?
Nunes.
Because
Nunes.
This is the ironic part of. Again, I don't know. I haven't listened to what Goldbridge has said, so it's hard. I don't want to slag his opinion off without listening to the context of it. But or maybe I'll try and find it in a minute on here. But I sort of look at it and think to myself, Darwin Nunes is not he's not better technically. I don't think. I wouldn't say there's much difference in terms of they're both a little bit clumsy on the ball, if we're going to be really honest about it. So why would you? And the fact that I don't know. What, Gakpo starting? You're not starting Jota over him. Jota's not the best technically on the ball. No, I can't understand. I'm going to try and find it. I'm going to try and find the clip and play it because it makes no sense to me
chances
personally.
that Liverpool create as well. He'd have a field day, Haaland.
I think he would as well. I found the clip. I'm going to download it quickly and play it. There'll be no copyright. Goldbridge don't do that to people. He's good like that. You can use these clips. A few other channels recently, they're like, no, stop using them. I'm like, you're weird, man. I'll stop sharing it to my 300,000.
Just quickly as well, like you're downloading that, yeah. You know he scored 29 goals this season.
Rubbish. Yeah.
Plus 6 assists as well.
Yeah.
How is this even a subject, man?
I don't even get it. This is what Goldbridge said. Just have a look.
2 weeks ago, millions of views clipped. Oh. I said Erling Haaland doesn't start for Liverpool. And even yesterday when I said it, people were going, he definitely starts for Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp would drive to Manchester and pick him up. No, you're exposing yourself as a footballing peasant if you think that. Liverpool play football with a striker that has to work hard, be part of the link-up, part of the hold-up, create, not just score goals.
We always say this when we're speaking about either-ors and stuff. Form Form is temporary, class is permanent. And Erling Haaland has that. And I think there's enough to be showed at Borussia Dortmund. And you have to take in the facts.
Jadon Sancho's playing well for Dortmund again.
Exactly.
Surprise, surprise. The league is rubbish.
Is he set free?
No, it's rubbish.
You're
it's a
rubbish.
rubbish league. The Premier League is the best league in the world. And what people make a mistake of here, let me just spell it out for the simpletons, right? I'm not saying Erling Haaland isn't world class. He is. But he wouldn't work in a Liverpool system. And if you don't realise that, you're not watching football.
I think it's completely wrong.
I feel like we're being called out. But yeah,
it's
Hey, I'm
completely wrong. I think
peasant
it's
then, man.
completely
'cause I
wrong, bro.
disagree with him.
I think it's completely
tell us
wrong.
why, you peasant.
Yeah.
He's wrong, man. He's wrong. Haaland would thrive in Liverpool. He'd have so much space to work with because they open up the game that he'd get in behind just like he did at Dortmund.
Yeah, I think, again, I would understand that take if we were still in the Mane, Salah, Firmino era with what Firmino did for them. But they've got Jota, Gakpo, and Darwin now. They don't. I don't see how anyone thinks they're better than Erling Haaland. And even if you do think one or two of them are technically better, you are talking fine margins, which are more than balanced out by the fact that, I mean, if you were to add up all their goals this season versus his, I'm sure if you added all their goals up this season and last season combined, I swear Haaland's outscored them all combined. I'm going to make that bet now. I'll do £100 bet with anyone who wants it.
Liverpool don't even have a number 9 either. Let's have it right. Who plays number 9 for Liverpool? They all play wide.
Yeah.
They all go wide.
You know what? Well,
You know, you
Potter.
peasant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Potter,
exactly.
you know what? Yeah, you know what else he's missing is when you have generational players like this, you change the system for the player.
Yeah, man.
If you have I'm not saying he's Leo Messi standard, but if you have those type of players, you don't just you fit the system around that player. Now, frustratingly, at City, sometimes we don't do that with Haaland, but like most people would do that. But Pep Guardiola's Pep Guardiola, he builds a system. Do you know what I mean? Like if you have Jude Bellingham, you probably want to build the team around him. Ironically, they're probably going to get Mbappe, so you're going to do that. You're going to build the team around him. But it's just ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous. You tell me that Jurgen Klopp would not take Haaland at Liverpool and start him every game. I'm sorry, that is just the most washed thing I think I've ever heard, man. That is just ridiculous. Bro scored over 50 goals last year. He's already on, 29, did I say? 29 goals this year. He's missed 2 months of the season.
So Louis here says all our attackers are in double figures this year. Tell all 5 of them. I'm talking about the guys that you would consider strikers, not Mo Salah. I'm talking about the guys that you would maybe look at as your 9s, and that's Jota and that's Darwin. And you might throw Gakpo into it. Have they got between them for Liverpool? Have they got 81 goals between last season and this season combined? There's no chance I've got that many. So that's what I'm saying. Listen, I think that I've defended Darwin on shows. Everyone knows I think Jota's great. I still text Jota every now and then. He's an old client of mine. But I'm not going to sit here and be disingenuous. Haaland walks into most teams in the world, probably barring Bayern Munich right now, because they've got Harry Kane. And I still think Harry Kane overall is better than him. I do, because of the footballing ability. But that's it. How many number 9s genuinely are better than Haaland in the world? And some people might say Mbappe, but Mbappe plays off the wing for me. He doesn't start as the out and out number 9. So
It's Kane and Haaland, isn't it? Kane and Haaland are the only 2, in my opinion, that are at elite level. You might bring in
Lewandowski's well past his best now. He's well past his best now.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's. I don't know how you can be a player that's
crazy.
This is what's crazy. He's one of the top contenders for the Ballon d'Or, which people throw at me as if you're winning Ballon d'Ors, that makes you elite. Same people that say the Ballon d'Or trophy is like the be-all and the end-all are saying this man's a League 2 player. Make it make sense on any level, you simpleton peasants. I love maybe like let's go to some of these super chats here. LB is spot on. The lack of creativity and balance of the attack is non-existent for City. Very narrow play and cross-Chester City. Too predictable. Ilkay Gundogan and David Silva left huge gaps to balance KDB and spacing.
Spot on. Yeah. Ilkay Gundogan took the mantle of David Silva and then left, and we never replaced it. Factual information from Rustin there.
There is. This year says Haaland's so weak, as robust as a pompadour. I love a pom. Oh, you put me in the mood for a ruby now, mate. Don't do that. I fancy one. Do you think a pompadour is a bit sorry, I'm going to stop. Erling Haaland won the treble at 22. Keno relegated with Nottingham Forest at 22. Yeah, but he also won the treble. So let's just relax a little bit here about Keno. He's the all-time Premier League great. Why do people do this? We all would take Haaland. Absolutely right. People are going overboard because Roy Keane said he was a League Two player. Sure, that was extreme, but his point was right. But he is still young, can develop.
That's scary, by the way, that he can actually get better. That's mad if they believe that. That's just nuts.
Yeah.
You think he probably would get? He's only 23, isn't he?
Yeah.
23, yeah, turning 24. I believe it's a dig at Haaland's father, as well, since Keane ended his career after getting... It's actually not true, though. He played after that tackle. Keane didn't actually physically end his career. And he just missed the ball slightly. And he missed it slightly. Haaland chat sounds similar to the Salah disrespect. Yeah, and it's the same people that... Generally, the people I see that don't rate Haaland are the same people that don't rate Salah. It's weird to me.
I don't really get how you can't rate either of these players, man. Salah and Haaland, you're telling me
they're not technical ballers. They're not ballers. It's as someone said to me, from a footballing perspective, I don't like them. I don't know what that means. It makes no sense to me whatsoever what that means. As a Man United fan, I hope that hope to God Arsenal win the Premier League. I agree with you. I want that.
Big up, man. Big up.
If Arsenal win City, it don't guarantee they win the title because they need to compete with Liverpool. It's just that City are likely to win the title. Yes, if they'd have won, yeah, I hear you on that. In terms of the fixtures, we'll come back to some of these super chats in a few moments' time. I've got quite a few of them, but back to the previous talking point. That is the fixture list that is coming up for all the teams. Who has the hardest run-in? And who are the favourites from now? I want to go to Potsy first on this.
I think we have the hardest fixtures, if I'm honest. Looking at us having to go to Old Trafford, having to go to Tottenham away. I still don't think Brighton and Wolves away are easy at all, if I'm honest with you. We've got Villa at home, and people wouldn't want to have. But I think the most of our home games, you'd like to think Arsenal would be able to get through. We've got Chelsea at home, which people will laugh at and go, well, you'll spank them. But Chelsea against the big sides, I think, have actually put up a fight. So it's not going to be a given either. Liverpool and Man City have got some tough away games, but I fancy them most of their home fixtures, if I'm honest with you. I think Man City have got to go to Spurs away, which they'll look at as being probably their hardest fixture. I don't know what it is about that ground, but they just don't do well there. And Liverpool, I don't know, maybe we're overlooking Fulham at Craven Cottage because we struggled there. We struggled there.
What does that super chat even mean?
I don't know what that means, by the way.
What does that even mean?
Is that a compliment or not? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it was during the Arsenal chat that came up, and you weren't like outright defending City. And a lot of people got on at Michael Richards for not defending Haaland when King said what he said.
Yeah. But that's what I think. I think Liverpool probably got the easiest of the fixtures. I think that Craven Cottage and Villa Park might be difficult for Liverpool. Well, not difficult, won't be easy. And like I say, obviously Man City have got to go, I believe, to Craven Cottage as well as White Hart Lane. But I think Arsenal got the hardest run, man. I don't know what LB thinks, but I would say that's probably the hardest of the three. But we'll see, man. Anything can happen in football. We could go to White Hart Lane and pick up 3 points and everyone go mad and then go lose to Bournemouth at home. That's just the way that Arsenal can be sometimes, man. So you just don't know.
I think City have the easiest run. Because realistically, we got Villa and Spurs away. Right. Now people say, oh well, Fulham away. Right, well, what we're doing here? Do we actually want to discuss this properly? And like speak facts, shows called straight facts, or because otherwise we might as well not compare fixtures. Yes, I get that there are easy games and harder games, but all games are pretty hard, But ultimately, City have two serious tough tests: Villa tomorrow, and Spurs away. Yes, Palace away is difficult. Yes, Brighton away is difficult. But in terms of the big names, we got two. Right, I'm looking at Arsenal. You got Villa, Chelsea, Spurs, United. So you got four. Plus the Brightons, but you got the four big names. Liverpool, they got United, Spurs, Villa, but they've also got a derby against Everton. You can throw that in. So they've got kind of 3 or 4. So Arsenal have 4 against 4 big teams. Liverpool got 3/4 with the derby against Everton, and City have 2. So statistically, City's fixtures are probably the easiest. Arsenal's are probably the hardest, and Liverpool fall in the middle. So we'll see. This is why we said City could do 9 out of 9.
When I said you could win all 9, well, maybe it wasn't that crazy then. When I said you could win all 9.
Who are the title favourites then from this point? If City got the easiest fixtures, followed by Liverpool, Arsenal got the hardest.
Yeah.
Liverpool just edge it, maybe.
I think the favourites, if you're just asking me like who were the favourite, I think Liverpool are the favourites because they are top of the league. Yeah, there's only 9 games to go, and they've got easier fixtures than Arsenal. And against City, who have the easiest fixtures, they need to drop points twice. However, if you're asking me genuinely who do I think is going to win the league, the Arsenal fans are gonna love this. I think Arsenal are going to win. I think Arsenal are going to win.
Why though? Why is that? You think we're going to win all 9 and then Liverpool will drop 2?
Because I think that you will. Yeah, I just think that Liverpool will drop points in 2 games. I just think you guys are just going to cook, man. That's my opinion, isn't it? I don't think. I wouldn't surprise me if you went unbeaten now to the end of the season.
Is that you being genuine, or is that you putting pressure on Arsenal?
Bro, pressure on Arsenal. Like, I'm not being funny here. Terry, do the Arsenal players watch this show?
Some do.
No. I don't mean like that. I don't mean like that.
Hang on a minute. I'm Terry Flewers. Of course they do.
Oh, I don't know, man. Saliba, if you're watching, yeah, pressure's on, bro. That's all I'm saying. I'm just genuinely. You asked me my opinion. My opinion is genuinely, I think Arsenal are going to win the league now.
That's cool.
But I do think that City could win all 9. And if City do win all 9, so tomorrow night's a big night for me because my season, like, if we beat Villa tomorrow, yeah, the chest is gonna, they're gonna zip this down a little bit, and the chest is gonna come out.
You're as pale as me. Don't do that.
I got a chest hair. It's all right. It's cool, man. It's cool. No, but if we win tomorrow, then obviously I will get my chest out a little bit more because then I'll believe that, maybe we could do something special and go win 9 out of 9. If we drop points tomorrow, because can I just quickly go through the fixtures? You had it up on there. Right? After Villa, I don't know if you want to bring this back up to.
Yeah,
we got Palace away, Luton, Brighton, Forest, Wolves, Fulham, and then the Tottenham game I believe is going to be after Fulham. So realistically, and again, I get no game's easy game, blah, blah, blah. But realistically, if we beat Villa tomorrow, we should be beating Palace, Luton, Brighton, Forest, Wolves, Fulham. So then it goes to the final last 2 games of the season. And I know it's all ifs and buts, blah, blah. Yeah, I get all that. But you could genuinely see a case. Like if we win tomorrow, yeah, and I come on Terry's match reaction and say, I think we're going to win, not every game to the rest of the season, but I think we're going to win every game up until that Tottenham game. I don't think anyone's going to sit there and go, "Whoa, no, you're not going to do that." I think people will go, "Well, based on the fixtures, yeah, it's a very reasonable chance." For me, it all starts tomorrow. If we win tomorrow, I might get my chest out.
I think you should already, man. I think you'll win all 9, honestly.
Nah, they're not. It's Liverpool's start to lose for me. And I got sent a comment earlier that said, I'm not entirely sure if it's accidental or deliberate, but wasn't Terry complaining that the media is saying it's Arsenal's title to lose now? He's doing it to Liverpool. I think he means a bit hypocritical, but it isn't. When I called it out for Arsenal, they were saying that Arsenal were the 3rd favourites. They were not saying they were the best team in the league. They were not saying they were the favourites, but also saying it's theirs to lose. I think Liverpool are the favourites from here, simply because they have a 3-point gap over Man City, who are, maybe they won't be this season, but they are the best team of the 3 overall when you look at their body of work in recent years and what they're doing. But they have that 3-point gap. I think the difficulty of fixtures they have versus City is very, very narrow. And they've only dropped points in 30% of games so far this year. But so have City. And so have Arsenal. And I know City's fixture, I think they're all going to drop some points. And right now, because they're leading the league table, Liverpool are the favourites to me. Still, I'm saying City. I'm still, right now, my head is saying Arsenal still probably 3rd because they have got some really hard fixtures to come. As we know, they've got a big derby. They've got to go away to Manchester United. With Liverpool, if Liverpool win the week and then beat us at the weekend, they're my favourites now. They become my solid outright favourites. If they win those 2 games, those 6 points in this week are absolutely massive for them. I think when I look at those fixtures and I look at Liverpool and I think what else do they have that's really difficult after they come away to Manchester United? They play Villa. What do they have really after that? They go away to Everton. They seldom lose to them. They play Spurs at home, Villa away. Maybe that's tough, but Villa haven't been the same team. They've got some tough games.
Can I just challenge you on that? Because
on,
you said that you don't think City are going to win 9 out of 9. So if you do the maths, how many points do you think Liverpool are going to drop then? Because say we win 8 out of 9 and draw the other one to give you the benefit of the doubt. Like, how many points do you realistically see Liverpool dropping then?
But I think Liverpool win the league.
I think you just said City going to win it.
Yeah, I thought you just said City.
No, I think City will. Sorry, maybe I misspoke. I think City's still got a chance of doing it, is what I'm saying. I think City will finish above Arsenal right now. Sorry, if I misspoke, I apologise. Liverpool are my favourites, and from this point, I think Liverpool win in the league. I really do from this stage.
Right.
If I might have misspoke, that might have been my fault. I apologise. Sorry if I did.
I thought you said City, but I might have misheard as well. So.
No, if both of you heard it, I definitely said it wrong. I can't imagine you both misheard. It was probably me. So sorry. So I must have misspoke. I apologise. Liverpool are the favourites. I think Liverpool will go on to win the league from this point, especially if they win their 2 games this week against Sheffield United and Man United. If, for instance, it's still so marginal at this point, though, because if they don't, they beat Sheffield United and we beat them, Arsenal win their next 2 games, City win their next 2 games, my mind might change. But right now, I just look at Liverpool. I think they'll beat us at the weekend. I know that we did them in the FA Cup. I just think Premier League football will be a little bit different. City first. Sorry, I did it wrong again. Liverpool first, City second, Arsenal third in terms of title favourites from this point. But it's going to go to the wire. It's going to come down to the last game or 2, no matter what. I still think out of all 3, Arsenal are the biggest underdogs of all 3.
I think that's fair based on the fact that they have got the hardest title running. I mean, that is a fact. You know what I mean? Like, I think the point against City was a big point for their confidence. But I don't know. It's really difficult, man. You can make a case for all 3. I know that's obvious because they're so close, but like City have got the experience and they've got the easiest title running, but we've got the most inferior goal difference, which could be a factor. We've not beaten a single team in the top 5. We play them tomorrow. You got Liverpool, who've won it before, top of the table, should win it, but probably, in my opinion, have the worst team out of the 3. If we've been honest, and then you've got Arsenal, who've probably got the second best team in the division. Don't have the experience of winning it, but are in a mad form. Confidence is probably through the roof, and are 1 point ahead of City, and have the best goal difference as well.
Which is why I want to caveat what I'm saying around. I'm predicting first to third. But I'm talking such marginal difference. And at the beginning of last week, I was doing what a lot of people were saying, title decided this game. By the end of the week, listening to yourself speak and other straight fact shows, I did my preview and said, I thought if City lost, they probably wouldn't win it because of the 4-point gap over both and goal difference. But with a draw, this idea that the title race was over, I think's crazy. Even though I think Liverpool will do it from here, it doesn't mean City and Arsenal can't. And I think that's what people are struggling with when it comes to this title race conversation. If somebody says, I think City will do it, are you saying Liverpool and Arsenal can't? No. Terry said Liverpool win it. You're saying Arsenal can't? No. I just think it's going to be, I'm talking, you might all be separated by a point or 2 come that last final whistle for all of you. It is so marginal. It is unbelievable. But with their experience, their know-how, the fixture list and the 2 games they've got this week, I'm just siding with Liverpool. But by close of business Sunday, all of our opinions could change. All of them could. Because if Arsenal win their 2 games and City and Liverpool drop points in both of their 2, we might all look at Arsenal as the favourites from that point. It could go the other way where Arsenal and Liverpool could both drop points. City could win 2 of them. And suddenly everyone goes, oh, that's it. City are back on top or joint top. They're going to go on to win it from here. And it's that marginal. So this idea last week that I think we all got wrong to a certain point, that the season decider was Arsenal versus City. We were all just wrong about that in one way, shape or form. Looking at it now and looking at those fixtures, like nothing's decided because of a draw, you know?
I think as well, people forget there's still a quarter of the season to play. Like, it's not like we've got 3 games left here. You know, it's mad that there is still 9 games here. That's a long time. And I know on paper, it looks like Liverpool and City and Arsenal are going to win the majority of their games, but there's no guarantee that's going to happen, man. No guarantee that's going to happen.
What's nice this time of the year though is you get a couple of weeks where you get like 2 games in a week.
Yeah.
If that makes, I think there's 2 weeks.
Next time
of
we
that
speak, there's going to be 7 games left by the next time we come on
Yeah,
in.
exactly. By this time next week, and it's it changes, and then you've got the Champions League to throw into the mix and the Europa League as well, which again we haven't really factored in. I don't like the Thursday, Sunday excuse, but it's obviously in players' heads because every manager and every fucking player moans about it. That's going to be an interesting one for Liverpool to see how that kind of goes, because they're definitely going to want to stay in it now and go up. Well, they want to win everything, Liverpool, because it's Klopp's kind of hurrah. I'm just intrigued to see what impact Man United and Spurs both have on this title race. I feel like those games, again, they all involve Liverpool and Arsenal, not City. It's they're going to be really interesting. I know Spurs do play City as well, actually. I'm a liar. Those 2 teams, I feel like going to have such a big say. I really do. And whether it's, Man United might get battered by both Liverpool and Arsenal and have a say that way, but I don't know. I just feel like those are the games that are going to be so key.
People talk about Spurs like to get involved, don't they? Oh, we've got to play all 3. Yeah, so Brighton and Villa. No one's talking about them too. They've got to play all 3 as well. Like they've got a massive say in it. You know what I mean? So Man United, you just mentioned as well. Like
and Brighton's a weird one, right? Brighton get a lot of stick. Brighton get a lot of stick for how many games they've won, but they've drawn a lot. And in this title race, they've lost a few as well, yes. But in their last 18 league games, I think they've drawn like 9, won 7, and lost the rest. So you're not talking about a team that loses all the time. They have, out of the 3 games against you guys, they're going to take some points, aren't they? They're going to take points of at least one of you. You would suggest, because they don't lose. They've lost 9 games this year, which again, it's a lot, but it isn't an astronomical amount of defeats when you consider that Newcastle 12, West Ham 10, United 11 are all above them in the league. Chelsea have lost 10. Wolves have lost. They draw a lot, but that's not good for you guys.
No,
like, do you know what I'm saying? That's 2 points gone in a title race, so they could have a big say as well. It's going to be amazing. I'm so up for it, and I don't think that, we know what the YouTube world's like now. The opinion you make today, we want to try and hold you to it, but our opinions might change in 2 or 3 weeks.
Bro, I split flop all the time, man. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Somebody. I know we're peasants, right, and we're simpletons, but you and I'm a clown according to that comment you sent the other day. But your opinions have got to. If you've got a brain, your opinions change because the landscape changes. Do you know what I'm saying? If Arsenal lose their next 3 games, what fool's going to predict them to win the league from that point? Like, it'd be crazy. But so I hope they don't, because I am on loan at Arsenal for the rest of this season. Let's look at some of these super chats, boys, and see what people have been saying. This here says, I don't get this Arsenal hate in general. It's a good point. I wanted to win, but you can't win every game. It's people getting triggered because it doesn't suit their agendas. They want us to fail.
Potentially, fair. Man. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was getting at earlier, really. Yeah, fair play, Carter.
This here from Lilin, who says Arteta, Klopp, Pep are tactical geniuses. Why would Klopp not make room, regardless of how they play now, for one of the best players in the world?
Yeah, agree.
I think that's what you basically said, didn't you, LB? When it comes to that.
Yeah.
So I'm just making a bookmark of when the super chat started. Sorry. This here says Arteta's press conference today. It's not what we wanted, but sometimes you have to adapt, leave your ideology and ego to go to one side and get a result.
And the result was a draw. That's what he was happy with. That's what he's happy with. At the end of the day, judge him at the end of the season. Like I say, if he loses the game, if he loses the league by a point, then cook him and say, oh, he's not part of the bus. But right now, he's put himself in a great position. If he would have lost his season, pretty much over in the league. Not over, but it's not looking good.
Much harder, yeah.
Correct.
LB, you're not listening. Arsenal went gun-ho last season, and we ended up being bottlers. We play smart and pragmatic, and we're still bottlers.
I never said you were bottlers. I said it was the right thing to do. Maybe you sent that. You might not have heard. I was playing.
Yeah, I think you sent it earlier. Yeah, I think you sent it earlier. To be fair,
yeah.
I think you did. The same media flying helicopters over the Emirates, enjoying how Brighton beat us 3-0, laughing at our downfall. We don't care. Got 4 points out of 6. Come on, you gooners. You said neutrals were rattled. I'm a Chelsea fan, and I don't feel like a neutral because I didn't want Arsenal to win the match or the league. You're crazy for that, bro. Crazy for that. I get why. Arsenal have a chance this year, but Arsenal's bottle job started in April last year. We still have United. They still have United, Spurs, Chelsea, Villa bottle job pending. Are you a little worried about that, Dan? About like April starts today, a little collapse. Are you a little worried about it? Is the old pooper going?
Well, listen, I think that the games that we can drop points, but I don't know how we're supposed to bottle the title this year. We're not 8 points clear, so we've not sitting top, are we? Do you know what I mean? We can't bottle a title race when you're not in front. Well, a nice try. They'll probably say that we will. They'll probably try and say we did.
Bottle the title
we
race,
bottled it from third. We were third and we bottled the title.
But you could bottle the title race. If you drop points in your next 3 games, you're out the title race. That's bottling the title race, though, isn't it?
You can bottle a title race. Yeah, I don't think you can bottle the title being in your hands.
No.
Bottle saying it has to be in your hands, doesn't it, for you to drop it? I don't think it's ever been in our hands this season, in my opinion.
This is saying Hamza says Arsenal shouldn't be happy with the draw. Look at Liverpool. They weren't happy with a 1-1 draw, bruv. Liverpool weren't happy because of a penalty not given too. Yeah, that's true. That was when the Doku studied Man in the Chest. And this is to you, LB. It says, LB, did you see the news? City writes a message to Arsenal's board because they can't find Haaland, whether he's in Gabriel or Saliba's pocket. Dan Marguna.
Bro, you do realise you drew the game, you know? You drew the game, and your star boy, limped off again with another injury. You know his record against City is absolutely trash. So how about just be humble, bro? Take the point, move on to the next one, and let's go. Sending super chats like this when you drew.
No need to bring Saka into it, man. No need to bring Saka into it.
Thank you for the super chat, brother. Had a look at the 4-4-2 review of the game between the managers, there was 5 tactical tweaks from both managers during the game. Absolutely. I mean, both top managers at the moment. I've been seeing City fan channels talk about if the title is over with 9 games left. Never have we heard it. Where's the blue shark? Arteta's masterclass moment of the game. Rice slide tackle on KDB.
He was class again, by the way, Rice.
Oh yeah, it was.
Brilliant.
Yeah. He was. Out of 9, Arsenal have 4 away. Liverpool and City have 5 away from home. But you've got to factor in who it's against, though, as well. But
facts.
Just looking at away form this year, who has the best away form? It's probably you 3 teams, obviously, because you're at the top of the league. It would be almost impossible for you not. But let's look at away form this year. Yeah, Arsenal 30 points, City 29 points, Liverpool 28 points. So, and Arsenal played 1 more away game than them, as you would say. So,
it's about, like you say, Terry, it's about who they're playing, isn't it? Like our most difficult away game is Spurs away, whereas Arsenal, what have you got?
Spurs and United.
Spurs and United, and then Liverpool have got Villa away. But they've got Villa away at second to last game of the season, I think.
And West Ham away as well. I know West Ham are pretty trash.
Yeah, West Ham. They've thrown a few curveballs in there. They have.
Not that they're going to want to turn up because it means that West Ham fans hate Arsenal, man. So
yeah, Liverpool lost 1 game all season and drew once since Xmas. What?
No, they lost to Arsenal. They've lost to Spurs.
They've lost 2 games and drawn 7. So that's 9 matches you haven't won in. So, and I'm not saying draws are as bad as a loss because you get a point, but if you could take, I mean, you lost 2. You've lost 2. That super chat's not right. Jota, Konate, Curtis, Trent, all back for this weekend.
Yeah, that's massive for Liverpool. That is, their players they come back. To be fair, Alisson and Trent. Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it. Guys, I want to thank you both for coming on and being on the show. I want to thank all of our viewers as ever. Remember, we are sponsored today by our friends at Brickhouse Nutrition. Go and check out their website now for pure organic superfoods. It is available for you and your family. 1 scoop per day. Keeps your organs, your heart, your digestive system really, really healthy indeed. When you go on the website, you can check what is in each of the Field of Green range, and it breaks down what it is and how it is good for you. Everything is organic. Scan the QR code on the screen now or click on the link in our description below. You've got to do it. Improving your physical health and your nutrition is so important. So go check them out. And I'll give you a 15% discount if you use promo code SQUAD when you do it. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace.